YB stays on your neck.
Thoughts on Tyson Fury's win? He's done what he had to. He said thoughts on Fury's win. I could talk shit, but he done what he had to. Well played to him.
1, 2 rounds.
Like what? I want to go back to fighting top 50 opponents.
What was Schwartz rank?
56. Gee.
And they comparing him to who? Ali.
Gee.
Mad.
I think why am I out here doing all this shit myself then?
Mad.
Do you know what I mean?
Mad.
Anyway. Yours are right number 1 on King Kong, that's all that matters. Hey. Oh, man.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from Anthony, the cash cow Joshua, and I gotta say, I was kind of surprised to see our response at all. I didn't expect AJ to really respond. He doesn't normally have much to say about other people's fights. For me, this response, which we're about to go into, I'm in two worlds. Half of it, I'm happy with. The other half, I'm not so happy with. So let's take it from the top. The first thing AJ says is, Fury did what he had to do. Well played to him. And then AJ says, I could talk ish, but I'm not gonna. Now this is the half I'm not so happy with, because there should be no well played to him about it. There should be no he did what he had to do about it. Yeah? And when you say you could talk ish, you should talk ish. Dylan White had the right response to the situation. Yeah? A certain man can talk about, oh, he's humble, this, that, the other. The time for humbleness has been left in the past. When you were winning, when you were on top, if people want to talk rubbish, that's fine. But now, when you've seen all the haters crawl out from under the rocks and kick you whilst you're down, at that point, for me, personally, I wouldn't be having it. It'd be every man for himself at this point. Why not? Why do I need to be respectful and humble for? Yeah, in my darkest hour, I'd be giving these guys the truth. Simple as that. And it's not as if we're asking for anything more than the truth. Give us the truth. We want to hear what you really think about Fury beating on some stiff that no one cares about. And like his mate said, Ali, what's wrong with these people talking about Ali and Fury? Ali fought the best. Ali fought the best of the era before him, the best of his era, and the era after him. The best, the true lineal person who fought Ali fought the lineal in the era before, the lineal in the era of his era, and the lineal in the era after. Fact. One by one. That's what Ali was doing. None of this coming back and having a draw and this, that. No. Back to back. No excuses. That's it. What's Fury done? On a serious note, look at Fury's resume. He's fought a 40-year-old man. Never mind fighting the best of your era. Never mind fighting the best of the era after. Not only that, Ali beat the best of his era as well. Today, all Fury's got is, on his era, he's got a draw with Wilder. And the era before his in Klitschko, a 40-year-old shot to pieces Klitschko, he didn't even give him a rematch. He don't even count. He hasn't even defended his belts, and people want to talk about lineal. People want to talk about, it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's amazing the amount of people who have crawled out from under the rocks now piping up about, Fury's the best heavyweight. Even Tony Bellend today. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Fury's the best heavyweight, no doubt. What do you mean? I don't mind. You know what? There's some Fury fans who will suck Fury off for anything. If you're one of them guys, fair enough, you're consistent. But you can't watch that Schwartz performance and then now be saying, this proves... What are you on about? If that Schwartz performance has changed your mind or highlighted how great Fury is, there's something wrong with you. Fair enough. If he did that performance against Wilder or AJ, even against someone like Povetkin, or even against someone like, I don't know, think of someone, I don't know, maybe Daniel Dubois or someone like that, or Joe Joyce, you could say, you know what, alright, if that's changed your mind, fair enough. Tom Schwartz, he quit against the F-level journeyman. He quit, he looked for a way out. And in this Fury fight, he quit again. He got cracked on the nose and didn't want no more. He wasn't short-circuited. He wasn't tired. He just quit. And everyone's going on about, this is great. The writing was on the wall way before the fight. But anyway, back to AJ's response. So as I was saying, for me, there should be no well played about it. The words Fury versus Schwartz, the words well played do not come into the equation at any level. Yeah, well played would be all right. Yeah, he knocked out Big Bum Miller, or he beat Big Bum Miller. Do you know what I mean? That kind of level, that mid-tier level. If you beat a mid-tier level guy, if you want to talk about well played, you've earned that right. But not beating Tom Schwartz. Yeah? When AJ, this is the funny thing, when AJ beat Charles Martin, who was a world champion who Fury backed to beat AJ, Fury was saying, oh, yes, Charles Martin, he's no good, he's a stiff, oh, he's a big dosser, he's a big stiff dosser. But yet, now AJ's giving Fury respect, and as I say, people, from where I come from, people earn respect, and Fury, he hasn't earned no respect. He's the biggest hypocrite going. He talks about AJ didn't have the mental strength when AJ quit. Bro, you quit on your titles. You quit. You let everyone who's following you down. That's what we do now. AJ's never done that. AJ's back in the Lions Den straight away. None of this ducking the rematch and running off and whatnot and dropping his belts. He's straight back in, back to back to back. That's quitting. For me, quitting is nicking the belts and running off for 3 years and throwing your toys out the pram. That's truly quitting. You quit on your family, you quit on the belts, you quit on everyone. Everyone that was looking up to you, all them Fury fangirls that are now crawling out of the woods. Oh, Fury had it so hard. Oh, Fury's life's been so hard as a millionaire. Oh, Fury's had such a hard life, yeah. 2 years of drug addiction. 2 years of drug addiction. He wouldn't know listen, if cocaine twatted Fury in the face, he still wouldn't know the first thing about drug addiction. This dude wasn't addicted to drugs. No way. I guarantee you. Absolutely no way. He had a few drinks and a bit of blow. That's not addiction. Yeah? I guarantee you any money he was not doing cocaine every day, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day. Yeah? That's what addiction. Addiction isn't, oh, I had a bit of sniff on a Friday and a Saturday night. That's not addiction at all. Or I had a drink on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. That's the average dude out here. Simple. But anyway, so the point in this video, that's the half that YB weren't impressed with. I'm done with all this nicey business, myself personally. And like I say, people think I've got something against Fury. If Fury does something, yeah, like as an example, as I said a minute ago, let's say Fury beats Big Baby. I'm not even asking for a knockout. If Fury beat Big Baby over 12 rounds, and AJ wants to come out and say, well played to him, he did what he had to do, I wouldn't be making this video on this, saying this rather, because you've beat a mid-tier guy and you've beat him, fair enough. At that point, you earn well played. Schwartz is not well played. It never should have been on the cards. This is meant to bear in mind as well. It's not a guy who's, well, Fury's come back from 3 years off, give him a chance. This is the guy, he's not on that type of wave. He's on the wave, he's pushing the wave of lineal champion. He's pushing the wave of, oh, I gave AJ my belts. He got them out of the bin. So if you want to talk about your world champion, about how you've never lost your belts, if you want to talk about your lineal champion, you need to be fighting like a lineal champion. Lineal champions don't have 2 warm-up fights, a draw with Wilder, and back to warm-up fights. That's not what lineal champions do. Not at all. Lineal champions fight the best, or at least, I'm not asking for the best, I'm asking for a mid-tier guy. Give us that. But he ain't. He's already talking about lining up 2 more stiffs. And I'm not even being funny. It's disrespectful to stiffs to call Tom Schwartz a stiff. He is below a stiff. He is literally a guy you bring in to just fall over. There's stiffs who actually put up a good fight, who will give you some good work. Like as an example, Francesco Pianetta. He gave Fury some good work. He didn't come to fall over. Pianetta is a true boxing man. He didn't come in to fall over. He was going to make Fury earn the knockout, and Fury couldn't do it. He couldn't. Schwartz came in to roll over and flop on the floor like a useless sack of shit. That's what Schwartz did, no doubt. And it's not even surprising. He was 7th best in Germany. Germany isn't known for their amazing depth in boxing, is it? Let's be real now. Wow. Anyway, that's the first half. The second half, and this was more encouraging. This is the stuff. This is where AJ, in my opinion, should have started here. Rather than finishing it, he should have started at this point. He then goes on to say, this for me, is obviously taking he's implying a bit of a dig, but it's not clear cut enough for me. It's not calling a spade enough for me. I think AJ, rather than be mystical and reading between the lines about it, he should have just come out and said, listen, Fury is fighting a top 50 fighter. If I was fighting a top 50 fighter, you lot would be going mad. If I was fighting top 50 fighters, I'd be balling them over. And the difference would be, my guys would be knocked spark out. Not in the corner and flopping to the ground and, you know what I mean? If AJ fights a top 50 fighter, they lose their consciousness. Yeah? Their eyes spin around 180 degrees and they start looking at their own thoughts. That's what does happen. Whereas Fury, dudes have finished on their feet, literally standing up, defending themselves. Dude's got no power. But anyway, AJ says, I want to go back to fighting top 50 opponents. I'm thinking, why am I out here doing all this ish to myself? So essentially, AJ's saying, the amount of credit, well, that's what I think he's saying, the amount of credit Fury's getting, why don't I go and fight top 50 opponents? And that's what I said in my last video yesterday. I said, listen, part of me wants AJ to say, you know what, I'm going to get these belts off Ruiz, and I'm just going to fight, at best, mandatories. And for all my voluntary defences, I'm going to fight complete stiffs, because this is the equivalent. Bearing in mind, Fury didn't even knock out Tom Schwartz, and he's getting sucked off. This for me, Tony Bellend today. This for me, this performance proves to me that Fury is the best, no doubt. What did he prove in that fight? What did he prove? So, what in that fight happened that we didn't already know? And this isn't about, for me, this isn't about being disrespectful to Fury. As I keep saying this, but put Fury in there with an average or a medium level guy, a Jarrell Miller or that type of tier, the below world level tier. I have no problem. But to the contrary, Fury don't want to get in there with Dillian Whyte. He don't want no problems with Dillian Whyte. He don't want no problems with anyone. I remember Tony Bellew was calling him out. He didn't want no problems with that either. Eddie Hearn offered Tyson Fury to fight Dillian Whyte, Bellew, and AJ. He didn't want to know. Now that lineup for me, that would have been what the true lineal champion does. That's what Ali would have done. Yeah? Bellend, Dillian Whyte, AJ. If he does that, I'll be sitting now blowing Fury off, no doubt. No doubt at all. And I said this before, if he beats Wilder, I'll blow him off as well. You've got to earn it though. I don't get how people are giving him credit for this. And AJ's right to it. He's completely right. People, and this is what I mean when my beliefs say that AJ should be more ruthless than this. He should be more merciless. Mercilessly. He should be more merciless than what he is. Because the bottom line is, the reason, and this, as I keep saying, the reason he should have gone at Fury, or go at Fury, just tell the truth. I'm not asking for you to tell lies or to not be truthful. Tell the truth about the situation. Because when you got beat by Ruiz, Fury wants to talk about quitter. Fury wants to talk about Ruiz couldn't lace my boots and I'd knock Ruiz out and all this business and, this proves AJ's no good. In reality, the reason AJ got beat by Ruiz was because consistently AJ was fighting the next best available opponent. That's the facts of the matter. Wilder, no. Fury didn't want it. White didn't want it. Big Baby didn't want it. Ruiz was literally the next one in there. Top 6 fighter. The next one in there. On late notice. He wanted Ortiz, didn't want it. So eventually, when you're fighting the best back to back, you're going to come up a cropper at some point. You're going to get caught with a shot. And at the heavyweight division, that's all it takes. But the difference is, Wilder and Fury, they refuse to fight people with any power. Do you understand that? I've been saying this well before AJ lost. I've been saying Fury and Wilder do not want to fight anyone who can turn their lights off because they want to carry on talking about how they're undefeated and how they're so bad and dangerous. That's what it comes down to. Why do you think now, all of a sudden, or put it this way, why do you think Fury and Wilder passed up the AJ fight to fight each other? Why is that? Explain to me. AJ's the bigger fight. Explain that. AJ's the bigger fight. Don't make no damn sense to me. It don't make no sense to me. AJ's the bigger fight, but you can't get no one to fight him. What's that about? But anyway, the last thing I'll say is, the last thing AJ says is, I'm thinking, why am I out here doing all this ish to myself? So why am I out here putting myself in there with the best every time? To get no credit as well, may I add. When AJ beat Povetkin, when AJ beat anyone of that level, even someone like Takam, Takam is a much better version of I know, what the guy's name now, but scrap that. Listen, when you look around at the division, when AJ's beating these top people, if you take Klitschko for example, the difference with AJ and Fury is, AJ offered the rematch. AJ was there for the rematch. He was hungry for it. Fury weren't, as an example. AJ beat Povetkin. People saying, Povetkin's old. A 38-year-old man's old. That's what they say. Who was queuing up to fight Povetkin? Who was queuing up to fight Big Bum? Big baby, big bum baby. Who was queuing up to fight Andy Ruiz? No one was. That's the answer to the question. No one was queuing up to fight any of these people. So that's why AJ's saying, and I'm pretty sure the LDBC, they're going to look at this video and they're going to say, oh yeah, look, AJ's saying he wants to go back to fighting top 50 opponents. Yeah, AJ's, look how mentally weak AJ is. He's saying he doesn't understand why he's got to fight the best for. That's how they'll spin it. And that's why, in a way, rather than going about it and taking a dig at Fury in this roundabout way, he should have come out and said, let's call a spade here. Fury just beat us stiff, and you lot are sucking him off as if he's done some amazing thing. If I was in there with Schwartz, he'd have been laid flat, and I would have stolen his consciousness clean out of his head. That's what would have happened. But no one would have given. That's what I'm saying. Fury gets like AJ beats Povetkin in devastating fashion, and all we hear after the Povetkin fight is, "Oh, AJ got rocked. Oh, AJ got rocked." Nothing about AJ stopping him. The first man, I believe, in his career to stop him. Yeah, no, Klitschko didn't stop him. The first person to stop Povetkin, and everyone's talking about... The first person to stop Dylan White, and everyone's talking about, oh, he got caught. Think about it, both of them two wins. Them two knockout, devastating wins. Oh, AJ got caught. AJ got caught. But yet Fury goes in there with a top trillion dude guy that doesn't even really stop him half sharp, and everyone's blowing him off, talking about, oh, this proves he's the best heavyweight. What's that about? And that's why I believe it's AJ's responsibility, man, to come out and become merciless or become a truth teller. There should be no, oh, well played to him. He did what he had to do. Did he? Did he really do what he had to do? Doing what he had to do would have been knocking this guy out. You're a 270-pound man. You should have separated him from his consciousness. That would have been doing what he had to do, in my opinion. That's what AJ and Fury would have done, to be honest with you. Sorry, AJ and Wilder would have done. So why not? Fury's meant to be the best heavyweight. How can you be the best heavyweight when you can't knock anyone out? Fury hit this dude about 30 times, unanswered shots. Couldn't hurt him. The guy got paid off to fall over. That's what we do know. But anyway, I'm glad that at least I would have been well irritated if AJ's response would have been along the lines of, oh, well played, he did what he had to do. I'm glad that he at least put on the end of it. He took a slight dig. However, personally, I'd rather see some more direct stuff going on, because Fury don't beat around the bush. He comes straight out and talks crap. So I want to start. And people say, oh, well, AJ's humble, AJ's this, AJ's that. It's a difference between being humble, yeah, and being truthful. You can be humble and tell the truth. We're not asking for him to lie. You can be humble and tell the truth about what Fury's doing. Fury's beat a stiff. This is the truth. Fury beat a stiff, and he's acting like he's a big bad wolf. When I beat Povetkin, no one was shouting about how great I am. No one was. Just start putting what's the reality out there. That's what I think anyway.